Hi, I'm Betsy Rosenfeld with the Center for Governmental Studies. This is Proposition Preview 2008. I'm here with the spokesperson for Citizens for Accountability, No on Prop 11. Thank you for joining me. This is Paul Hefner.
Thanks for having me.
So let's get started with why Californians should vote no on Prop 11.
Californians should vote no on Prop 11 because we don't need a confusing and unfair system of redistricting, and we don't need, frankly, a way that enacts a hidden agenda for a certain number of politicians at the expense of voters.
Let me ask you to explain a little bit more about how Prop 11 would work and the problems that you see with it.
Well, one of the big problems we see with it is how unfair the confusing and complicated process that Prop 11 sets up for redistricting is. For example, Prop 11 says that all of the decisions about redistricting will be made by a panel of just 14 people.
Could you explain for people what redistricting would do?
Sure.
Because it's
a little arcane. Redistricting is the process by which, after every census, we go about rebalancing and redrawing the lines for political districts so that they all match in population. What Proposition 11 would do is set up a commission appointed by a variety of bureaucrats and other people who would then make all those decisions themselves. We've got 58 counties here in California, but we'd only have 14 people on this commission. So obviously most communities won't have any voice at all when decisions are made if Prop 11 passes.
Okay, you're with Citizens for Accountability. Tell me about a few more of the big opponents for Prop 11.
Well, basically, if you've read Proposition 11, you're probably opposed to it. It's very long, very detailed, very complex. Among the folks who have joined the opposition, Dan Lowenstein, who is the former chair of the California Fair Political Practices Commission. We've also have teachers, firefighters, community groups, environmentalists like the California League of Conservation Voters, and others who are opposed to Prop 11.
Now, what do you say to the opponents for the, I guess this in this case would be the supporters of Prop 11?
Well, I think that there are some of the proponents who are well-intentioned, but unfortunately they brought forth a very flawed proposal, one that really is not the best way to go about redistricting, and certainly not a plan that we want to enshrine in our Constitution.
Let's go through your arguments once more. So the arguments against Prop 11, if you can lay them out.
First, it's so confusing. If you look at the process that Prop 11 sets up just for establishing this commission, we start with a single political appointee appointed by the most powerful politician in the state. Then that person has to go and get bureaucrats off the job of cutting government waste and lets them go through and start picking out people whose applications get processed. Then we go through a process where 20 people from one party, the Democrats, 20 people from another party, the Republicans, and 20 people from neither party are all aggregated together, and we start drawing names out of hats. Now, of course, there's no sense of representation and fair play here. We don't know what part of the state any of these people will be from. They could all be from the same block in the same town. Not the best way to draw districts for a state like California, which has 37 million people spread across 58 counties. You know, we actually have more people on the board that sets up examinations for accountants than we'd have drawing districts for the state of California. We have more people who govern things like the standards for building contractors than we would have drawing districts that would affect the entire state for an entire decade.
We have one final question for you. What would be the biggest impact on California if Prop 11 passes or if it doesn't pass?
Well, if it passes, unfortunately what we're going to see is more gridlock and less accountability. Prop 11 imposes the same kind of 2/3 requirement to pass redistricting that we've seen hold up the budget process so much in Sacramento. So unfortunately we'd see more gridlock, and at the same time we'd have no accountability because voters don't get to elect the people who sit on this commission. If they don't like the results, they don't have anyone to call, anyone to complain to, anyone to say, hey, you're not representing me fairly. And that's why so many people are saying no to Prop 11.
Paul Hefner, thank you so much for joining us,
Thanks so much for
and
having
best
me.
of luck on Election Day.
Thank you, appreciate it.